I'm Abby, and with me today, as always, is my beautiful co-host Ashley. And today we are joined by another beautiful co-host, which we are so excited is joining us today. It's Kaitlyn from Tea with Tolkien, and we are so excited that you are coming to talk with us today and just kind of like hang out. So, hello.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Um, so we kind of explained it to you before that we started recording, but this is just going to be a chill, just nerdy, like hangout session where there's no like questions where you're like, oh no, I don't know that. No, we're not doing that. We're just going to hang out. We're going to get to know you better. We're going to let our listeners, maybe who are just, like it being introduced to you for the first time, get to know you better. So, yeah. Are you ready? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, this is going to be so fun. Yay.
So,
We like
first off, would you like to introduce yourself? Maybe give us a little bio of who you are.
Sure. So my name is Kaitlyn, and I run the website called Tea with Tolkien. Our main focus is community oriented. So we have a Discord community that's basically like the hub for everything I do. And the goal of everything is to embrace this kind of idea of being a hobbit at heart and let Tolkien's works kind of transform the way you live, not in like an allegorical way. Tolkien isn't writing an allegory, but I do think that there are principles and themes and lessons that we can learn from Middle Earth. And I think with a lot of times when you're a fan of something, you want to memorize the lore, you want to learn as much as you can about it. But what good is that if you aren't like changed by it and then you don't go out and like make the world a better place? So a lot of what I've been trying to do is like, we're all hobbits at heart. Like, let's go out and like destroy the ring, like downfall of Sauron type of thing. But kind of just trying to like guide people through the Lord of the Rings. I know, especially the Silmarillion, that's kind of like a tough read for a lot of people. So I have a lot of Silmarillion resources, a lot of Lord of the Rings resources. But my goal is just to like be here for people and help them along whatever journey life is taking you on, whatever direction you're going in. Like Tolkien can be this companion for you on, as you're going through life. So that's like the main thing I do. We're inspired by the works, life, and faith of J.R.R. Tolkien. And yeah, so that's kind of like the whole thing is just a big community, and we hang out a lot. We share our lives together. So it's all about fellowship.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's so great. I love that. We need more of that.
We needed you in the world. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah.
So you have gone kind of viral with your videos, and you have a shop that's full of awesome products that help people with this. And like you're talking about your Discord, and you kind of have groups. Like I wouldn't really call them like book clubs, but they're kind of like that kind of situation where you're coming together as a community and talking about Tolkien and stuff like that. But you kind of covered it, but what really inspired you to start this journey? Was there like a point in your life where you're like, I want to do this, that started your journey of bringing your love of Tolkien into social media, and kind of putting yourself out there?
Yes. So I have always loved writing. Ever since I was in middle school, I've been writing. And then when I was a new mom my first kid was born in 2013. And back then, I feel like mom blogs were like a really big deal. And so I had this love of writing, and I'm a mom. So I kind of was like, maybe I could get into like blogging in a way. And so I kind of started writing about like motherhood type of thing. But like looking back on it now, it's kind of cringy. Like, I'm a new mom. My first kid is like 6 months old. Like, I don't have a lot of wisdom to share, you know? And it also wasn't something I was super passionate about. I just felt like, you know, I was trying to figure out who I was. I'm a new mom, but I'm still me. And I've always loved Tolkien. Like, Tolkien has been a thread throughout my whole life since I was like 10. And so finally, so as I was doing this like mom blog, every once in a while I'd write an essay about the Lord of the Rings, and people are like,
just for
what?
fun.
Yeah. So like no one would read those because it wasn't like my main topic. And so finally I had a light bulb moment of like, oh duh, why don't I just start a separate Tolkien website so that I can connect with these other Tolkien fans? Like, I feel like as a new mom, I really had this misconception that like motherhood like swallows you up, and all I am is a mom, and I can only think about mom stuff, talk about mom stuff. Like, I'd go to play dates and it was like, what brand of sippy cups do you guys use? And let's talk about nap times. And like, I find that even though I find being a mom really fulfilling, I find that topic like extremely dull,
soul crushing.
Yeah, like, and it was getting to this point where I was like, I am still me. Yeah, I have interests. I love being a mom, but I am still me too. And so I think remembering and kind of coming out of that and remembering how much I love Tolkien and remembering that I can write and I can share things and I can connect with other people, because the internet is such a big place. There, like, you know, you'll go to a mom group and there will be 10 people and you'll be the only Lord of the Rings fan 9 times out of 10.
Preach.
You go on the internet and there's tons of us, you know, like tons of women who love Tolkien, especially. And so to have that outlet, to have not only a creative outlet, but a community that I could connect with on top of my real life community, because I think real life community is really important and you can't just like stay online. But just to have that. So gosh, sorry, I don't even know where we started with that, but yeah. So I was like a new mom and I was just like, I want to write about Tolkien and I want to find new friends and connect with people. And I also feel like over the years, I've gotten really good at like community organizing type of things. So I was like, well, let's use this for Lord of the Rings stuff. And so that's kind of where it came from.
I mean, I feel like this.
I already feel like I want to be your best friend. You have you have this vibe about you, like hugs. Let's all hold hands and just feel this moment together.
What's that?
Oh, man. I don't think you could have said something that spoke to both of us more than what you just said.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
100%.
I mean,
yeah.
I have 3 kids. Your oldest is like just probably a few months older than my oldest, and so I was in that like time of where everybody was blogging about their life, and I also like, you know, that was like a big thing back then. And I would have killed to have found your blog where you were talking about Tolkien, and like I've been like, oh, finally, because I don't know about you, but all the other ones just made me feel really bad about myself as a mom. But I feel like yours would have been like, yes, someone else who is like has the same interests as me, and that would have been so great. Darn,
right?
But now we have you now, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I feel like I would meet a new mom friend and I'd try to talk about Tolkien and they'd be like, oh, my husband's into that. I don't really care. And then I would just be like, I don't want to talk to your husband. I want to talk to you. Yeah. Like, so that was always the like, okay, like I'm not going to go like hang out with this lady's husband. Like, I don't want to talk to your husband. I want to talk to you. Like, can we not have some shared interests, please? So yeah, finding like lady friends who like the Lord of the Rings is just like life-changing.
It's so great.
I mean, little do our husbands know the gems that they have in our nerdiness. Like, I could out nerd him easily, and I don't think he appreciates that.
Yeah. I know. I'm the one who has to explain the movies to my husband sometimes. He's like, "Who's that? Who's that?" I'm like, oh, "Okay." Like I was like, "Okay, I'm trying to."
Let me pull up the PowerPoint.
Yeah. Let me get the books. And then I have a big wall. I just wheel in a big whiteboard that has all the stuff, like all the connecting. I'm like, okay, now we got to start here. But
what's
so
amazing,
great.
and actually how I think I first found you was I had posted you had this lovely representation of the Valar. And it was just so minimalistic, and it was just like their name and like a tiny little symbol that like represented what they did. And I think I reposted it, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot I even made this. Thank you for like putting it out in the world again." I'm like, "You answered me." Like it was just so beautiful, and it was so perfect. And then I was looking at your stuff last night, and I'm like, "You just give this stuff out for free, and you just like make it so easy, and you just are just like, please have this gift for the universe, this beautiful, like simplistic, but like so beautiful, like here you go." And it's just, I love it so much. I think that's actually where we first met for the first time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I was like, wait, this looks familiar. Oh, I made this. Because it happens a lot. I'll make something and then I'll just put it out there, and then I'm thinking about 800 other things and I just forget. Like I have so many things that I've written even in my Google Drive that I have like gotten maybe 80% done, but didn't finish all the way. And then I'll have an idea 6 months later, oh, I should do this. Then I go to my Google Drive and I'm like, wait, I already did this. So there's a lot of like being like, oh, wait, am I a genius? Like, I already did this.
I'm a genius twice over, actually.
Yes, right.
Whenever I do things like that, I always be like, look at me go. I did it already. Go me.
I know. It's great. It's like, let me just maybe update the formatting and then it looks perfect.
Yeah. So speaking of
you got into Tolkien when you were, sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of all your art and all your beautiful things you've been making, and we were watching your videos on your Instagram, and you have like super cute crafts with your kids, and it's just like, and Ashley was telling me, she was like, she's the mom I want to be.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure that's not true.
It's true.
And they're just so cozy and lovely, and like have you always been drawing or like making art, and have you been doing that most of your life?
Yeah, I've always been pretty artistic. So my family is very artistic. My dad is a musician, and my mom is a gardener, which like you might not think of that as artistic, but when you're planting a garden, yeah, like it's very artistic. And then both of my grandmas are authors, and then my grandpa is also a painter. So like my family is extremely artistic. So I've always been drawing and all that, but I still don't like consider I'll look at other people's art and be like, wow, this is incredible. And I really like my art, but it's still hard to like consider myself like an artist, but I just really enjoy it. And I don't get to draw very often, but when I do, it's like, I'll get an idea and then I don't do anything for the next 5 days until it's done. Or I'll stay up until like 2 a.m. drawing and then be like, oops, I have to wake up at 6 to take the kids to school. Yeah. But I really love it. It's just such a nice outlet, and just a way to get kind of something in my heart out to the world. So it's really fun to have this way to share it with people.
I really love the style. It's so it's not flashy. It's like you'd have to know what these little gems are, but like it's so, I love it.
Yeah. So honestly,
very minimalistic, but so genuine.
We love, like we've said before in our podcast multiple times, we love any and all Silmarillion art because it's so niche, and I feel like there's not enough that much out there. And like I go to Comic-Cons a lot, and there is no Lord of the Rings art because there's the artist alley in most of a lot of Comic-Cons. There's nothing. There's like one guy who is a friend of ours who's a pretty big Tolkien artist. That's it. I don't find anything else. So it's so
Kip
nice.
Staying strong.
It's so nice that we, have things like this that you put out there. So do you find that you have like a good response to your artwork that because people are so excited to see more Silmarillion or more Tolkien art out in the world? Do you feel like people are like, yes, finally?
I do feel like people have always been very kind. And I do try to tailor my audience to only attract kind people. So every once in a while, like there are certain things that will kind of drive certain people away. Like, and I try to post every once in a while something like that to just be like, just go. Like, if you're a mean person, like I don't want you here. So especially with the Rings of Power, like there are so many people who like hate the show. So every once in a while, it's almost like this sounds really mean. It's not, I wouldn't ever call like someone trash, but it's almost like you're like taking out the trash. Like, okay, you're just get
the garden.
Yes, like weeding the garden. That's such a nicer way to say it. Yeah, it's like I love and respect all people. You all have the same human dignity and worth, but you are not someone that I want to be in my personal space, kind of. And so a lot of the times I'll kind of post like, it's almost like a deterrent. Like I love the Rings of Power, of course, but it has like a dual purpose. And so I feel like my audience that I've kind of cultivated over the years, it's like, I would say 98% really, really nice people. And so when I do post something, even if it's like a little vulnerable and scary, like sharing your art, it can be scary because you pour your soul into it. And then you're like, what if someone hates this? So yeah, I try to like attract nice people and then I get nice responses back.
You're like,
100%. We have to do, Abby made a wonderful disclaimer before we do any Rings of Power episodes, basically saying like, you know what? If you don't like it, feel free to skip this episode. We're going to talk about it. So everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but we're here to play nice and be nice to each other. And let's just all get along, okay?
At the beginning with all the Rings of Power stuff, I did try to like be more patient with people and allow more like diversity of opinion in like my Twitter replies or something. But now I'm just like, you know what? It's been a couple of years. If you don't like it, just move on. Like we don't need, I don't want to I'm not going to debate you anymore. Like that's dumb.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
I can't make you get to the right conclusion.
Right.
What's that quote from Mean Girls where they're having that big assembly and the girl's crying and she's like, I just wish I could bake a cake full of rainbows and butterflies and everyone will get along. Like, that's what I want.
Right.
She doesn't even go here.
Yeah, I think I'm like more over it at this point where I'm just like, whatever, you don't like it, that's fine. Just leave me alone.
Move along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. So speaking about your like online presence with like your beautiful artwork that you're doing, and the like kind of the little like peg doll things you do with your kids, and you make like little like worlds with them outside. So cute. So cute. So you also, I noticed on your like shop kind of thing, that you have like a lot of not worksheets, but they're more like follow along, kind of helper, I would say, like kind of like a not tutoring, but just helping other people who are maybe experiencing the Silmarillion for the first time or experiencing like the deeper lore of Tolkien in Middle Earth. And I even saw that you have some like flashcards or like follow along, like
the flashcards killed me. That killed me.
So what inspired you to make those type
You
of
liked
themes?
school, didn't you?
Yeah. You played teacher as make-believe all the time.
I mean, who doesn't love a good flashcard? Is that weird? Like, is that just me? Like,
Me too, girl.
yeah, I was definitely like the one in school who was like really, I don't know, nerdy and over the top with their homework. But yeah, like I just feel like, so I feel like Tolkien can be so powerful to almost like as a guiding star for someone's life. And I don't want to make too much a big deal of Tolkien, but I feel like with his philosophy, the stories, okay, he, and I don't want him, like, I feel like Tolkien would be too humble to want me to say this, but like his works can guide you in a way through your life. And so if I can help you understand his works better, then you can take what he's trying to tell you and make whatever you need to out of it. So there are certain parts that speak more to me, and then there might be parts that speak more to you. And that's not up for me to decide. My job is to help you understand what you're reading so that you can then like go forth and live the rest of your life with that knowledge or like hope. You know, like one of Tolkien's biggest things is hope. And we need that in our world. Like, so many people are so hopeless or falling into despair or like tempted to despair because a lot of terrible things are happening daily. And that is kind of this like looming sense over, at least me. I have this like anxiety every day over like, this bad thing is happening, this bad thing. But Tolkien offers you a way to anchor yourself in hope. So if I can like help people get to that point too, or like courage, you know, all of these little themes that kind of sound basic when you're, it's almost like you're back in like high school English class, like courage, hope, you know, valor, fellowship. Those are like the bedrocks of society and like of our world and of a good life. So yeah, so my job is to just help you understand what you're reading so that you can then do what you need to do with it, and hopefully let Tolkien hold your hand and guide you through life.
That's amazing.
I love that. To kind of like bounce off what you were saying, is that's one of the top things that I love talking about with Tolkien with people, is that sure, there's dragons, sure, there's wizards happening, there's swords and, you know, trolls and all that stuff, but the main basis is one of my favorite themes about in The Hobbit, in The Lord of the Rings, in The Silmarillion, is like he writes one of the best descriptions of friendship and like love towards somebody, like towards another person, in a way that's like, this is how it should be. Like, this is how people should treat each other.
Loyalty.
In a way. And like, and you know, you're talking about like one of my favorite examples is Boromir and Aragorn. How like they're both, you know, Boromir is, you know, top of in Gondor. Like, people would assume if they were like looking at it from a broad scope, oh, he would be like king of Gondor. Like if he was going up, he would have been like a top person in Gondor. But he is so respectful to Aragorn, and he's like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to fight you jealousy over trying to get, you know, dominance of like, this is mine or whatever. And then like, they are like that brotherhood and that respect and that love for each other. I'm like, yes, this is what we need. Like, we need to band together, not be trying to climb over each other and fight each other for things, and like really focus on like banishing the world of evil. Like, that's it. That's all we need.
Yeah, like we have a common goal.
Yes.
Right. And there are so many different types of that love too.
Yes,
like
and I
you
love
have
it.
over here, you've got Boromir and Aragorn, and then over here, you've got someone else and this. And so that's like Tolkien is so universal because there are so many different ways of love and friendship and fellowship that some might be more relevant to me, some might be more relevant to you, like, and we all come together and it's like we're all working towards this common goal, like you said. And so yeah, I love that. It's just there's so much to offer.
Yes.
I love that it started out as like a kid's book, and it was just supposed to be something that was supposed to, put his kids to sleep. And he loved dragons, so let me just throw in a dragon, kind of a thing. But along the way, like if you just said it's about this little guy and a dragon and a ring, you'd be like, okay, what is that going to teach you? But then these little lessons along the way that like the smallest of the small can understand a little bit, at least, to the 90-year-old woman that's like, oh my gosh, like they understood this part about me, like, or something, like it speaks to so many generations and it can teach so many different things. We actually had an interview with Don Marshall, and he said that when he saw the Faramir riding out to attack the orcs in Osgiliath, that ride out when Denethor's being disgusting, and it's just heartbreaking because he's just doing it to try and make his dad proud. And he was like 8 when he saw that, and he's like, that's what true bravery is. Like, as an 8-year-old, understanding the significance and the depth of that moment that just speaks to Tolkien's like just I can't even explain it more than that. It just scope. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
And the power of storytelling too, like that you could tell it, you could take 8-year-old Don Marshall and try and tell him, hey, here's the definition of bravery, but you wouldn't understand it in the same way as you do when you see it in a story. So it's like, it's so powerful.
Yes. I've actually been trying to do that with my daughter lately, like try and explain certain concepts, but I'm like, how about we just watch this movie instead? Like, I feel like it would explain it a lot better than I could.
Yeah.
So, you've mentioned before, speaking of children, that you have young children. And have you brought them into the world of Tolkien yet? Have they read the books? Have you like watched anything? I know that you play with the cute little peg dolls with them, but like what is there, if you haven't,
I love that Eowyn and Faramir were your favorite were your first ones.
Yeah.
And like if you have introduced them, how did that go?
Well, I kind of feel like it's not even something that they are introduced to. It's like a part of our life. Like, it's almost like introducing a fish to water. Like, it's already in the water is kind of how it feels. Like, every bookshelf I have, there's probably at least one Tolkien book on. Every year we have a Hobbit party in September, and it's just like a family tradition. So the kids just know it's Hobbit party season.
It's like a national holiday. Wait, you don't have a Hobbit party in your house?
Yeah, they're like, what? Other people's families don't have Hobbit parties? Yeah. So it's like almost like there isn't anything to introduce because it's like woven into our family life. But I do have some things, like we have the graphic novel of The Hobbit, and my son really likes it. And then there was some point where we were reading a lot of Norse mythology, and the kids were really into it. So I was like, hey, you know what?
This is my end.
What's like Norse mythology? Like, what if we tried the Silmarillion? And I did read, I read some of it to them. Obviously, like, they're pretty little still, so there was a lot of confusion. But I would say surprisingly, and we've seen the movies, I'll put them on the TV, but surprisingly, the best way that I've gotten them interested in Tolkien is through the Rings of Power, because it's this new dynamic thing. It's a show, new episodes out, when the seasons are coming, and they really enjoy that, which I don't know why I was surprised, because it's made with maybe like 12-year-olds in mind, I think. But there have been some incredible conversations in my house. Like my son will just be like, so can Morgoth ever come back from the void? Just like I'll be driving him to school and he asks me that. And I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, let's talk about this.
You have to pull over. You're like, okay.
I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm like,
I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah, like the clouds open up and the sun is shining down on me. And I'm like, yeah, my son. Yeah, but just some really great things have come from watching the show together. So that's been something I'm really thankful for. And then I've started reading them the Fellowship of the Ring at bedtime, and the Hobbit and stuff. So I feel like it's not been one thing where I'm like, all right, it's time to introduce them to Tolkien. It's like just a part of our daily lives. I also have tried not to go too hard with it because they, when your parents are really into something and kind of as a rebellious kid, you're like, well, I don't like that. So I try not to push it on them.
Like it.
And I'm like, well,
if you have to disown them.
Yeah. If you ever want to read the book, it's right here.
Yeah.
I know. That's
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
You just like slide it closer to them, like, okay, I'm stepping back.
Yeah, I'm just inching it.
If you want it. We introduced.
I feel like they have.
I was gonna say we read The Hobbit as a family. What were you gonna say? Kind of like that. It's kind of like that, where like my 11-year-old and 9-year-old, they're my oldest, and then I have a 3-year-old. But my 11 and 9-year-old, I'm like, okay, I think it's time. I think we can read it. Like I'm like, all right. And we do a lot of road trips, so I let the wonderful Andy Serkis read it to us, but it was pretty much the same. But it was like, okay, we can do this. I'm introducing.
That's so wonderful.
I'm grateful for the Rings of Power because every time Lizzie is like, hey mom, like she knows I love Lord of the Rings, and she'll be like, do you want to watch Lord of the Rings? I'm like, where do you want to start? We can't start from the middle like a crazy person. You have to start at the beginning, and then it's like this commitment of like 12 hours, and no kid's gonna stand that long. So the Rings of Power is an amazing, like, we can do an episode. Yeah, like that. So I love that part of it. And it also brings in a lot of answers to questions that she had from the other movies too, and vice versa. So I love watching Rings of Power with my daughter too.
I have also really liked when we watched the Fellowship of the Ring and the prologue is on. I'm standing there by the TV and I'm like, that's Isildur, and like there's Gil-galad. And then they're like,
heck yeah.
You can see that their mind's blown. They're like, what? And I'm like, we're gonna see this battle in a couple years. You'll be older. Yeah. Just get ready. It's gonna be on the TV show. Yeah. So that's been really cool. And then it's like a double-edged sword because then like, the things that they do change in the Rings of Power, then my kids are confused. Like some stuff about Tom Bombadil training Gandalf. And I was just like, children, like,
it could have happened, maybe. I mean,
sure.
You never know.
Yeah. But it's definitely a great conversation starter, no matter what. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
so I saw a while ago that you posted a book and I found the book a while ago too, and I freaking love it. And I tell everyone, even if they don't have kids, I'm like, you just have to read it because it's adorable. That John, the dragon one.
Yeah, John Ronald's Dragons.
So cute.
Right?
Yeah,
it is. I really like.
Are
that
there
one.
any other kids books that you show your kids to like lure them in?
That one I like a lot because it's like about him following his kind of like the stories as they come to him. There's another one that's like, I think it's a little golden book. And I don't remember the title, but it has a little kind of cute cartoon picture of Tolkien. And it's like a little mini biography. But I don't even know if I have it, but I think I've seen it at the bookstore and it looks really cute. So I don't know if it's good or not. A
golden book?
I think it's a little golden book.
That one. It's like Little People, Big Dreams.
Maybe.
And it's a biography on Tolkien.
Maybe so. I don't remember.
At the dollar store right now. Or it was.
Oh, gosh. Amazing.
He deserves so much more than $1. But yeah, I love discussing other books.
Now.
$1.25. Sorry, yeah. I love finding other books to show kids.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this one?
No.
Okay, see, this is why I do this. Okay,
that's so cute.
It's mainly The Hobbit. So it's like all the dwarves are coming, and it's like Goodnight Moon, cute. But it's so freaking cute.
Yeah,
I will send you the link.
Amazing.
So
yeah, it even lists all the dwarfs.
Oh my gosh,
I can't.
Where's Bomber? So speaking of, introducing as a child to your children, what's your earliest Tolkien memory? Oh, there he is. What's your earliest
cute.
Tolkien memory, or what is that memory that you're like, you remember the most of, like, this is what started, how it started, or and how did you get started into the world of Middle Earth and all these things? Do you have a specific memory, or was it like something that was just happening?
Yeah, I remember when the first movie came out. My family was not like a fantasy family. They were very much into like Star Wars and sci-fi. And someone had given my dad for his birthday the DVD of The Fellowship. And I remember my dad was not very interested in it, but I saw it like sitting on a table or something. And I was like, what's this? Like my eyes like were like in a cartoon where their eyes get really big. I was just like, what's this? I need this. So I don't even remember watching it though. That's like a very vivid memory of like just seeing the DVD on the table and being like, I need this.
This doesn't have spaceships. What is this?
Yeah, what is this? And then I didn't get to see any of the movies in the theaters. We just didn't go to the movies very often or anything. But I remember I got the books at some point, and then I got like bullied so hard in middle school for it. I mean, I was telling my kids the other day, like, Star Wars now is really mainstream and like normal cool kids can like Star Wars. But when I was a kid, it was like, I was like bullied relentlessly for Star Wars. And so then when I got really into Lord of the Rings, it was the same thing. Like every day, everyone at school is making fun of me. And I'm like, I was trying to learn Elvish. So I'm like doodling in Elvish on my notebooks. And everyone's like, get a load of this, loser. So that, yeah, those are, so
we would have been friends.
But yeah, so those are like really my very first memories. I don't even remember seeing the movie. I don't have any memory of that, but I just remember like immediately, like I was hooked and in it, and like this is where I live now. I live in Middle Earth.
So that's so funny. I think we're kind of the same age. I might be wrong. We might be around the same age. Because I remember my family is not fantasy either. Just was not into that stuff. But my mom was like, let's go watch The Fellowship of the Ring when it came out in theaters. And I was like, okay. And so that was like literally, that was how I was introduced. I was just thrown in the deep end of like, go watch this like 3-hour long movie as this like 10-year-old. And I'm like, okay. And I like watched it. And I remember sitting there at the end where they're like, they're going off in their different directions at the end of the Fellowship, and their boats are going up, and then the credits started going, and I'm like, what was that? Like, what was that? I want more of that. And then in middle school,
I also do think Elijah Wood had a big part of that as well. Just saying,
yes, Elijah Wood is I love Elijah Wood, but my middle school librarian, so the movies were huge, like when I was in middle school. And so she would get all the promotional, like Scholastic book stuff for Lord of the Rings. And so she had like big posters and like, those ones that are like promotional for libraries.
We still
like,
had those. Why didn't we keep those, Abby?
Like read books, like those like promotional, like trying to get kids to read kind of posters, and it was like things like that. Or like she gave them to me at the end of like when taking down her stuff in the summer. She was like, little nerd girl, here you go. I'm going to give these to you because I know you love them so much. And I know you get made fun of it all the time. But here's all the stuff that you love. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you an angel? But like that for me was like, because it was when you were in middle school, like around our age, and you were like loving Lord of the Rings because it was coming out, like that was a big like spotlight on you for bullies. That was a big spotlight on you. Like,
yeah, it was not fun.
Yes, but look at us now.
I was thinking, did you ever see the movie 21 Jump Street, the new one?
No. I don't think so.
It's really dumb, but there's this part in the movie that I always think about. So like this, it's like Channing Tatum. So like this, gorgeous guy is like going back to high school undercover, and he's like, he goes to just automatically put himself in like the jock territory, and he's like, look at that nerd. And everyone kind of like looks at him funny. They're like, we don't make fun of nerds anymore. Like that's not, nerds are actually the cool kids now. And so like, he's actually the one that gets like bullied because he's not smart. And I'm like, that's actually kind of how it is now. It's so funny how the tides have turned, how like,
yeah,
back then we would have been destroyed, but now you're not cool if you aren't a nerd. So
yeah,
must be nice.
How the turntables.
Yes.
Yeah, how the turntables. Yes.
So
you just nerded yourself out even there more, and I love it.
So now that we're the cool kids now, what do you feel like now that you've kind of gone big on social media and you've got some like bigger viral things about coming into the like getting more Tolkien works into the spotlight on social media? What is an experience that has happened to you because of Tolkien? Like, what is something that was like, I never thought I'd get to this part, or I never thought this would happen to me, but because of my love of Tolkien and that I put in this effort and work in doing the social media and getting it out there, what have you been blessed with in your life that is your favorite experience from that?
So much. I don't even, I almost feel bad because like it's been overwhelming. Like, and I've always tried to be very like passive about seeking out opportunities because I don't have time for most stuff. So I'm not going to go out and like try and pitch myself for all this stuff that I can't handle. But like, oh my gosh, like getting to do all of the stuff I've gotten to do with Amazon, I literally never thought in my entire life that I would ever get to do. Like I would say when I was at the season 1 premiere, well, so it's technically not a premiere because the main premiere was in London, but I was at the New York one. So it was like a premiere screening. I remember I was there and I was thinking of my 12-year-old self being bullied and like, being a loser, and like, now I'm in this
redemption.
Like, yeah, I was like, look at me now. Like, if only I could have shown my like 12-year-old.
You had this list. Take that, Anna Carrick. Take that.
Yeah.
Like
right. Yeah,
Anna Carrick is, but
so yeah, I would say like that. Just having those opportunities to like connect with these other people, I guess, and like. In getting to go to the Amazon stuff, I've gotten to meet the other Tolkien creators, and now I consider them friends, a lot of them. And then also, I guess I would say I got to write a book, which like I've kind of always wanted to do, but I've never sought that opportunity out because once again, like I don't have time for anything. So
having have like 6 kids.
Yeah, I just got like 6 kids, and they have so many different. Yeah, they need me. So I mean, they're my priority. But yeah, like what was it? Last year I had, actually it was the end of 2023. I had a publisher reach out and we started working on a proposal together, and I wrote a book and it's going to be out next year. So like I would say like all the stuff I've done with Amazon has been really like, it feels very like flashy and fun and like, ooh, I'm at this special party with fancy food. But then like writing the book has also been like really cool, and hopefully it will help people kind of in the same way that I try to do with my other stuff that I do.
Yeah. Totally.
So I kind of saw a little bit about the book, but what is your book about? What is the I saw a lot of Hobbit at heart, which I know is like your like motto, your slogan. It's the thing.
That's the thing.
But I mean, you can't write Hobbit at heart over and over again for, a whole book. What is the book about?
So the book is basically about kind of what I am trying to do in general, and it's entering into Middle Earth and returning home changed. There's this line before the Fellowship goes into Lothlorien, when Boromir is really nervous, and he's like, I've heard bad things about Lothlorien. I've heard that nobody returns home unscathed. And Aragorn is like, don't say unscathed, say unchanged. Because entering into something as powerful as Lothlorien does change you. And so I kind of feel the same way about The Lord of the Rings. Like entering into such a big story in a big world, like I think if you're really investing in the story, you will not be the same person that you were on page 1. When when the ring is destroyed, like you are going through kind of a journey of your own, I would like to think. And so my book is about like kind of following that journey and picking up on different themes and different virtues that we see, especially in hobbits. Like hobbits are very, now I can't remember. So in the book, there's like a list of like 50 virtues of the Shire. And at the beginning of the book, I invite you to like choose some that you feel resonate with you and that you want to kind of form your life around. And so then throughout each chapter, we go through these different virtues and as we see them illustrated in the story, and kind of pull those lessons out and try to adopt them into our own lives. Like, fellowship, courage, and stuff like that.
I love that so much. So it comes out next year? Yeah. How can we get it? When does pre-order start?
So
when do I get a signed copy, please?
It does come out. Our plan is next spring. So right now we're still in the editing process. So I turned the whole thing in February, and then my publisher is working on it. They're having all these meetings, and then we'll have some editing, and then I got to submit the title that I want to have, and then they'll kind of get back to me if that's a title that will work and all that. So we're still working on that, and I assume once the title and then the cover art, maybe even before the cover art, I'm not sure when the pre-order link goes up, but if anyone is interested in getting a notification when the pre-order link does go up, they can subscribe to my email list at teawithtolkien.com/book. So that's like the landing page. Right now there's nothing on it, but soon there will be, I'm assuming.
And the title of the book is, one more time.
I don't know yet. So I don't want to. So I have like a working title. Yeah.
Well, what's your choice?
Well, I wanted it to be like Hobbit at heart type of thing, because that's kind of my whole shtick. But
did you do the cover art too?
No. So the publisher has a like in-house designer. We're kind of talking about that because originally I did want to include as much of my art as possible, but now that we're getting like farther in, I also want the book to be really affordable and compact and easy to throw in your bag. So if the artwork ends up becoming something that will make the book more expensive, I don't really like. I want as many people to be able to buy it as possible. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much artwork will be included anymore. That's kind of all up to them. So we'll see. And I don't think
I'm
like
going to do chapter, like the chapter
like a little
numbers.
thing.
You can have like something. Yeah. Because that seems like, I mean, I don't want to diminish it and call it doodles. It is not doodles. But a lot of what you do feels like the little like accents
like cutesy doodle. Yeah. I don't think doodles is
I don't
fine.
want to diminish it and say doodles. Like it's not like a kid's like stick figure. Obviously, they're beautiful, but they're just very, it's minimalistic. It's very and I'm not trying to downgrade it by saying minimalistic. I love that style very much. But yeah, it'd be so cute to have like little things on like the corners of some pages or like on the chapter thing.
Yeah, I think it's up to them ultimately, but yeah, whatever they decide, I'm excited about, because either way, you know, if it's just my words and the book is really affordable and more people can get it, that works. And then if it's maybe a little bit more expensive, it's got pictures, whatever, like it all sounds really fun to me. So I have kind of just been like, here's the book, whatever you think. You guys are the publishers, you know, they're the experts on all this. I just wrote the book. So yeah, so that's like the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, we'll see. But it should be next. I think we're planning for March, but I don't have a date yet.
You're gonna do it for my birthday. I knew it.
Just for you.
Yeah.
Just for me. Thank you.
Well, that is so exciting. We will definitely keep an eye out for your book because it's Ashley's birthday, maybe a birthday present for you. And then I have another super Tolkien obsessed friend whose birthday is also in March. So let's hope that I can get 2 birthday gifts.
Yeah.
So
that would be awesome.
Just saying, if you do it on March 21st, that's technically the first day of spring.
Yeah. And they had talked about maybe Tolkien reading day, but then I'm kind of like, that's Tolkien's day. It's not my day. So we'll see. But that is also up to them. So whatever they want to do. They have all these, they have all the like data and all that for when things are supposed to publish.
Sure.
So now we're going to go into more of like your fun, like not opinions, but just like kind of Middle Earth and everything. So, question, because it's been different every time, but which character do you want to be, but which character are you actually more like? And it can be from any
Tolkien. It could be part of Rings of Power, Hobbit. Yeah.
Okay, so you know at the beginning of the Lord of the Rings movies when Bilbo is at his party and then he sees this lady with all her kids and he's like, "Good gracious, are all those children yours?" I think is that Mrs.
You have
Grace
been productive.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you have been productive." Like that's realistically me. I think I tweeted something. It was like a photo of her, and it was like the vibe I bring to the function. Yeah. So
that is amazing.
That's me. But I mean, if I could be anyone, I would. I don't know if I'd want to be anyone different. Obviously, like. I mean, I think it would be cool to live in Gondor. Faramir's cool. Maybe I'd want to be Faramir. I don't know.
Hey.
He's like the ideal person, I feel like.
What about Faramir, but maybe with a cooler dad?
Well,
maybe with a cooler dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, everyone has to. That's called character development.
True. You get a cool brother.
We all have our own struggles.
But did he need that much character development?
Yeah, he had a cool brother.
Yeah.
He had a cool teacher too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, Galadriel is also. I would like to be her, I guess.
True.
But I feel like those big characters, like the main characters, they have so much responsibility. Like maybe I could be like Rosie Cotton. Like she stays home for most of the story, but she does help out for the scouring of the Shire. So like, I don't want too much work here.
Those are great answers. Good answers. So speaking of characters, though,
thanks.
Yeah, I said I'd be Rosie Cotton because I'd just be working 9 to 5 waiting for my man to come home.
Yeah, and then he gets home and you just give him the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
You get it.
So, speaking of characters, it's kind of different from the last question, but it's a 3-part question. So it's, who would you want to have a pint with at the Green Dragon? Who would you love to go into battle with? And who would you stand with?
What was the second one?
So have a pint at the Green Dragon, go into battle with, and sail to the Undying Lands with. Characters.
Oh. So pint, I would... Tolkien characters. I would like to have a pint with Fingolfin. I feel like he is just so cool. Actually, I would also like to ride into battle with him. And sailing into the west, I would pick Galadriel because she has like all the gossip.
That's what I said.
We would have a lot of fun on the boat ride. I feel like I could get a lot out of her.
That's what I said. I chose her.
Really?
Like, she'd be like, throw all the gossip, all the tea. Like, yeah.
Yeah, spill the tea. Yeah. Also, Elrond would be kind of fun, but I feel like he would kind of like, at least Elrond in the movies, you know, he's like so grouchy. But
that's
I guess
man, you better tread lightly.
Elrond's my dude.
Book Elrond, though, he's such a sweetie.
Yeah,
I love him. Yeah, he would be fun. Any of those characters who have like been around and seen a lot.
That's exactly what I said.
Is Fingolfin the one? He has a really cool shield. Is that the right one?
He's the one who he fights Morgoth. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I was just trying to remember. He had a cool weapon or armor of some kind.
Yeah. He has this special shield, right? And then I just remember he has like a special banner type of thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We call them the F names on our podcast. We just get all the F names confused. There's so many F names.
Well, he's special because he dies and like and I like that he basically goes up to Morgoth and is like, you're a wimp and you don't want to fight me, and then Morgoth's like, I don't want to fight you, now I have to. Like, I like that.
And then he went with his little sword.
Can't have this little shrimp calling me out.
Yeah, he like messed up his foot.
My favorite is when people do artworks.
That's a great answer.
When people do artworks of that battle between him and Morgoth, and they totally get the proportions like crazy, like Godzilla style, where like Morgoth is ginormous, and then he's like this tiny little
Morgoth's like 100 feet
and he's
tall.
like this tiny little glowy thing at the bottom, and that's what makes him to be that tiny. And then he has his little sword, and he's like like a little like in his foot. It's like
it's like a little toothpick.
A toothpick. Yeah.
I love that. That's my mental picture. Yeah. I know that's probably not what he was
maybe
thinking.
not. Yeah.
Like, I love
possible.
So next question is one of my favorites because we love to just everyone who's answered this has brought forth amazing things, and it's so fun to see. But being a Tolkien nerd, lots of us have our own dragon hoards of Tolkien collectible things. So what is an item in your Tolkien collection that is your favorite? That's like I love it so much. And then second, what is a holy grail item that you don't have yet or you want to get someday if you like won the lottery or an angel floated down and gave it to you? So what's your favorite item right now?
I wish I had it here. I have a water bottle that Amazon gave me that has the Rings of Power logo on it. And it's like such a good water bottle. And it's like holds 40 ounces of water. And it's like my
You are a girl after my own heart. You're like, it not only is it themed, but it's functional and
it was free, and it's one of a kind. You can't buy it. So a couple years ago, my car got broken into, and I had the water bottle in my car. So they stole like my wallet and my iPad, and I thought they stole my water bottle, and I started crying. And then I found my water
bottle. Not about the iPad or the wallet, but it was the water bottle.
My wallet, that can all be replaced. I didn't have any cash in it. It was just on my card. So it was a pain to cancel all my stuff. But the water bottle, irreplaceable. So I 100%. Found that's how much I have an air tag on the water bottle.
I love that. So
like, yeah, I would say my water bottle is like my prized possession. I don't know. I don't super,
I will need a picture of that water bottle later.
Yeah, I wish I had. I usually have it like right here on my bookshelf, but one of my kids carried it downstairs. Yeah, so
the precious water bottle.
Yeah, how dare you touch
an alarm didn't go off?
That's mommy's water bottle.
We need to put a sticker on the bottom of it that just says "My Precious" on it. Just like a little like text sticker like on the bottom.
Yeah.
This is mommy's precious water bottle.
Yeah, I do need to have like put my phone number on it in case I leave it somewhere. But yeah, so yeah, that's my water bottle. I don't know like what I would want. Like I don't really get into the collectible stuff. Like I have seen a lot of cool collectibles out. I did get this dark Galadriel.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got this.
I did notice you play Funkos with your kids.
Yeah,
and I loved that.
I leave them out, so I have like Boromir. And the kids just play with them. I think you're supposed to. I mean, I think some people might get upset because they're like, these are collectibles. They're not toys. You're supposed to take good care of them. But like, none of these were expensive. Like, and the kids like playing with them. So yeah, I had that's something that I really did want, and I have it now. So I don't know what I would want. Like, I mean, maybe a cool sword. I do have Aragorn's sword, but like, as I have 6 kids, there's not really anywhere I can display it safely. So it's just in the closet.
You just don't let your kids play with swords?
Yeah. Not these. I mean, I don't know if you have any of those replica swords, but they are heavy. Yeah. If a sword were to fall on a child, they would have to go to the hospital. They're super heavy. So yeah, I have it in the closet.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so when your youngest turns 10, then you can get your sword.
Yeah. So that's 9 years away. Then I'll put my sword up.
Yeah. There you go.
But then
save up for it and decide which one you want.
On their 10th birthday, you bring it out.
Whose sword do you think you'd want?
Then they'll think it's like, for them,
no,
and I'll be like, no,
it's not for you.
No,
and you put it in your office. This is my gift.
Yeah.
I'm the one who did all the hard work on this day anyway. Why do they get the birthdays?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know which one I'd get. Maybe in 9 years there will be Rings of Power merch.
Ooh,
never know.
True. Man, their swords are so cool.
I was laughing. I was trying to their swords are so cool. I was trying to find, it's hard finding cute Lord of the Rings stuff, right? Like, it's just not at your local Target, I mean, there is a tiny bit, but
yeah,
the selection is limited. And I remember when the first season of Rings of Power came out, they had Rings of Power pajamas for kids that had Anatar's face on them. And I'm like thinking like,
really?
I'm here for it. But at the same time, are these selling? Like, what, like 6-year-old, because it was like in that like kids, so it was like 4 to 5 and then 6 to 7, like, because that 4-year-old really wants Anatar,
and it's like, let me put this on my sweet little angel of a child, like Anatar, exactly. Like he's quite evil.
It's like when I see all the like,
I just thought it was like the most random choice for the merchandising department.
It's like when I see tiny like toddler Stranger Things or like Venom shirts, and I'm like, huh? Or like,
like, it's in like size 2T. You're like, what?
Yeah. What's this for?
My daughter says that's just Stranger Things, so I can't really talk.
Yeah.
She has her own little section on the shelf there.
Aww.
So,
Stranger Things.
Just kind of like, not to dive super deep into it, because I know that we could talk for a lot longer than this, and we are on children's schedule, so we've got, time limit here. But speaking of like Rings of Power, what you are a fan as long as we are fans. We loved it, and I know that you enjoyed it as well. So what did you enjoy the most? What were some things you already mentioned, like the Tom Bombadil teaching Gandalf thing was kind of like but and then also what were some fun like Easter egg things that are like, oh, I know that, or oh, they mentioned that, or like, you know, fun, cool things like that. So what did you love the most? What was it your favorite? And then like those kind of things.
Yeah. I feel like a part of me really, really loves the Sauron and Galadriel stuff. And I feel like I'm at war with myself because then you're like, oh, that's not in the lore. I'm like, but it's so compelling. And
it
so
could have been.
yeah, you never know. I was at one of the like Rings of Power parties, and I was kind of just like, I like to just like mess with the showrunners a little bit. And I was like, you know, if Tolkien would have been alive for, you know, 10 extra years, he probably would have had Sauron and Galadriel get together. You know, it was probably in a draft somewhere. And they were like, no, it's not. No.
Enemies to lovers.
I was just like, you know, you never know. So I do.
Hey, Christopher had to clean up a lot of mess. He might have thrown away the wrong box.
He probably suppressed it because he didn't want to. Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing here, Dad? I don't agree with this one, and threw it away.
You never know.
Cast it into the fire.
You never know.
You never know.
So I do really enjoy the way that Sauron has been characterized, because in the movies, you know, he's just a shiny, flamey eyeball who doesn't do much. But like when you really dig into like Morgoth's ring, like his character is so interesting and compelling. And it's not in the sense of like, I want to defend him, because obviously he does quite a lot of evil, but it's so detailed, and a lot of people are meeting that for the first time in the show. So I think that they have like absolutely nailed the whole, like everything about Sauron. And then Celebrimbor in season 2, just like perfect. I also think the dwarves were good. Like, yeah, like so much about the show is so good. So, you know, there's some stuff that I didn't
character
really
that
like.
You're like, when you see him on the screen, you're like,
it was Adar. He was my favorite.
Adar.
Yeah.
So you don't like second Adar? Because
no, I like them both.
Okay,
I like them both. Yeah,
like the character.
I think they both bring a lot to, you know, in different ways. They had different styles of being Adar.
Yeah.
But the idea of him, and I thought it was such a compelling way to bring up Tolkien's kind of like internal conflict about orcs. Like, you know, do they have like agency? Can they be redeemed? That stuff that Tolkien himself wrestled with. So I think they did such a cool job with him. And I'm really sad that he did end up dying, because there was so much more they could have done. Like they really could have taken him, and he could have been in, you know, the whole show. But like, I get why they did it, but that was sad.
It was very sad. It's like, you knew this guy for 2 seconds. Adar's been with you his whole life. Like, he was just trying to be a good dad.
I know. Kill your own Lord Father. How could you? Yeah, Glug.
How could you? We call him the eloquent orc, because like, there's no way an orc talks that eloquently. Like, he was the most articulate orc we'd ever seen.
Right. Yeah. What I loved that I loved how much elvishness was always like coming out of Adar's. Like, you could tell the way they portrayed him when he was around another elf. He would be like, I'm an elf too. Like, always name dropping other elvish stuff, you know, like it just thought it was so wonderfully written. That he'll definitely be missed.
Yeah. I loved, you know, the manipulation that Morgoth had in the early parts of the Silmarillion, especially on like Feanor and things like that. it cannot be like, it's so good. Like, it's so manipulative. It's so amazing. And I mean, it's not a good thing, but I mean, it's unbelievable how manipulative he was. And then to pass it on to Sauron, and you don't really get to see a visualization of that, you know, because Morgoth is gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like they did such a good job, like you were saying, of showing Sauron and showing that manipulation and showing how just evil, cunning,
mm-hmm.
gaslighting.
And when Sauron was like talking about how Morgoth treated him, I was like screaming. I was like, I cannot believe this made it into the show. Like, I was just blown away, because there are so many things they don't have the rights to, or they don't want. They've tried to oversimplify a lot, and so I figured, we won't get anything like that. So I was just like, I was watching like, oh my gosh, this is the best day of my life. Yeah.
I mean, it is a gray area, because, I mean, other than him being like his favorite lieutenant or whatever like that, we don't get to really see the dynamic between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see the similarities. Like, Morgoth was so freaking persuasive, and then, Sauron must have, learned a lesson or two from that. So you see that, but you don't get to see their dynamic. Like, we don't know if he was treated horribly by Morgoth. Not a clue.
Yeah. So, I love what they did with it.
Here.
Sorry, I had to help a child, so I had to walk out for a second. No
worries.
So I assumed you said amazing things. I was
amazing things.
I did.
I was here for it.
So, speaking of like the things that they didn't get the rights to, like the Valar and Morgoth and all those things, and I know that you talk about the Valar, or you did those really cute illustrations that Ashley was talking about and stuff. Do you have a favorite Valar that you love? Who's your favorite?
Yeah. Oh shoot. Well, Varda, I think, is obviously really cool. She's like the Lady of the Stars. And then it's Nienna, who is the
dancer.
Is Nienna she's the one who taught Gandalf,
the
right?
sad one?
No, that's the sad one. So we have like nicknames for all of them. She's the empath. That is Oh, okay. You were right. Nienna is the sad one. Yeah. Nesta I was looking at the dancer. Sorry,
that's what I thought.
Got me.
Oh yeah, you're Nienna fine. I was like Googling it, like, oh my gosh. So Nienna, she's the one who basically counseled Gandalf and like taught him wisdom. I think I loved really that
story.
Cool. I like how she's like very emo.
Yes.
So I would say between maybe, but Aule is also really cool. I wouldn't say he's my favorite because he's like such a jerk to Yavanna, but he's cool. I like how he's like really crafty, and I feel like I'm always like trying to make stuff, so I kind of relate to him. But at the same time, like all of his like Saruman and Sauron were kind of like under his leadership, and like all of his pupils kind of like didn't end up doing very well. So something's wrong with him.
Speaks to his
so I guess I'd say Varda or Nienna. Yeah, maybe he's not a very good teacher.
So we also chose our Valar husbands when we were learning about the Valar. Who would your Valar husband be?
Maybe
not Amandos, Lorien with the dreams.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, I don't know why my first thought was Olmo, because he like isn't. I feel like because like in he doesn't have a spouse, so I would be like, well, I could fix him. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind, so I'll just go.
It's funny
Olmo.
because in our podcast, in my brain, Olmo is very Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, where he's like just very.
No,
he's just very like, come on, guys, like this is how it's gotta be. But he's like so adorable that you're like,
I don't want to be here, but
yeah. I feel like all of the Valar are kind of just like bros that I don't really think I like any of them.
I know. I feel is it a Rome?
I would just be by myself. I don't need a Valar husband.
Is my guy.
Yeah, he's the huntsman, right?
Rome is Abby's husband.
I feel like he would annoy me. Like he'd always be like, "Oh, we gotta go hunting," and I'd be like, "Oh, another elf on the wall." Yeah, yeah. And Tolkos, he kind of reminds me of like Hulk Hogan, which like, like he's like
he's my Valar husband.
Thor.
Really?
At least he takes a nap.
Thor,
yeah.
from like the MCU.
Yeah, he parties hard and then he takes a nap.
Very Thor.
Yeah.
Manwe is kind of like
who
snobby.
I wanted to be. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Manwe would too much for me.
Yeah.
Nessa is who actually I said I would want to have a pint with at the Green Dragon because we just would have a dance party.
Oh yeah, she would be fun at parties.
Right?
That would be awesome. Yeah.
She's in the bathroom, like drunk. She's like, "You're beautiful." No, you're beautiful.
Yes, that would
so pretty. Like trying to like braid your hair.
She's the one who has like all the tissues in her bag and everything. Yeah.
Yep. And then Yenna's like, "It's okay. I feel your pain."
Yeah.
She's the Dee Dee, of course.
Yeah. She's like the mom of the group.
Yep.
Aww.
So we have one final question that we love to ask, just because I don't know. It just is like a warm, cozy question to end on. And then so I like to have people just envision it in your brain. So imagine you're in this beautiful park and it's like maybe early summer time, so it's like warm and it's just like full of life and the trees are beautiful and you're sitting on a park bench by yourself and suddenly you see Mr. Tolkien come down and he sits next to you and you've got 5-10 minutes to talk to him. What would you tell him?
Yeah, I would ask him if we could have I would be like, "So, Sauron and Galadriel." And then he would be like,
No,
I don't know.
I was not in the notes.
I've got 5 minutes. This is what you want?
No, he would.
They let me out for 5 minutes.
He would be like, "Yeah, I left them in the notes. Didn't Christopher publish them?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he publish them like I requested? Yeah. I left it right in my will. Yeah. No, I don't know. Gosh, I think what means so much to me, so I'm Catholic and he was Catholic, and I feel like his faith was something that really anchored him throughout his life, especially in times of war and like, you know, death is all around you and you manage to like kind of
all around him for sure.
Yeah. And you manage to like cling to hope. Like I would just kind of ask him like, how did you do that? And like what yeah, I guess I don't know. I would just want to hear like how he feels about hope, because I mean, you think about his life, like his dad dies, his mom dies, World War I, World War II, you know, as he gets older, his friends are dying, his wife dies. That's the way of life, I guess, you know, like we'll all get older. And then so I would just ask him about like hope and like how he anchored himself to it, I guess. After I bugged him about Sauron and Galadriel.
You're like, tell him all these
beautiful I think that's
things.
fair.
Is a crazy person.
You tell him all these beautiful things, and you're like, and before you go, please.
And so,
what's the deal with this?
Artano and Artanis, like, why are their names matching? Tolkien. What was up with that?
Were you stuck in a phase?
Why did all the names sound like each
Were
other?
You stuck in a phase where F was your favorite letter and you had to name all your characters with F names? Like, what was the deal with that? Why does Sauron and
I just really like
have to be so close? Come on.
I always get Maeglin and Maglor. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maglor and Maeglin. I always get those ones mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So many.
It's kind of fun.
Why
though.
Tolkien?
Or why does one?
Well, he would probably launch into a 2-hour.
Yeah, a 2-hour description.
I was going to say he would launch into like a 2-hour explanation of the language. He'd be like, well, it has to be. They have to start
totally
with F.
different names.
You're pronouncing it wrong, actually. They sound so different because you're pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be
it's a silent F, you guys.
Well, that is a great answer. I love it.
It's been a silent F this whole time.
Yeah.
That's like me discovering it's not Maedros. It's supposed to be Maethros.
Yeah.
Well, I
can't.
Someone told me it's actually Maedros. And
Maedros, yeah.
Because I did a Silmarillion guide podcast a couple years ago, and this person waited until like I was 75% of the way done to send me a very kind email to be like, hey, just so you know, you've been saying it wrong in every episode. And I was so embarrassed. But like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not a linguist. Like, we'll be fine.
They're in charge.
But yeah,
I feel like there's certain.
So that's.
Well, there is a pronunciation guide in the back of the Silmarillion that, of course, no one who's gonna check in the back.
Do it. You have to do this like every 2 seconds.
I made a point of saying like this is how I read it in my head, and here's how I remember it, and here's how I say it. I understand this is the right way of saying it,
right?
But my dumb American brain and mouth can't say certain things or can't remember it's that the DH is a TH somehow.
Of course.
So sorry, I have to say it this way for it to make sense.
And
Kulianen got me.
Yeah. And the narrator of the Silmarillion audiobook, Martin
he says
Shaw,
it different too.
He says a lot of things totally incorrectly, and I kind of have his voice in my head when I'm reading. So at the end of the day, like, I think we'll be fine.
You know who I'm talking about.
Exactly. So
I love that.
Kaitlyn, it's been so fun. It's been so fun hanging out with you today. And
thanks for having me. This is great.
If you want to plug your book, any of your socials, anything like that, you can totally do that right now.
Yeah. So all of my stuff is at teawithtolkien.com, and from there you can find like links to anything. I'm on social media at teawithtolkien. It's pretty much everywhere. Just you can Google Tea with Tolkien and you'll find it. And there will be a landing page on my website once the pre-order link goes up. And until then, I'll probably put like a little subscribe to my newsletter box on there. If you do want me to send you the link when it becomes available, I'll get that set up so that it's easy for people.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm crossing my fingers for you that it will be called.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, we'll also promote the heck out of it once.
Oh, thank you.
I'm crossing my fingers for you that it can be called Hobbit at Heart, because I think that's such a cute title for it. That's me crossing my fingers for you that you get that.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Yeah, I'm sure if it's not whatever we come up with, I'll also love. So I'm trying to practice like a detachment from
the fake smile.
You don't like control, do you?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I am very bad at like group projects or anything collaborative because I need like 100%. I find myself relating to Sauron a lot, which obviously is bad. So I'm like, whatever we come up with, I know is going to be great. And also like they're, the publishing house, they're the experts. They do this all the time. So whatever wisdom they have, I'll be happy.
Of course.
I literally told Abby, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Kaitlyn is a combination of us two together somehow, because I'm very much a type A personality. I love the control. I actually have OCD.
So do I.
Yeah. I thought so,
crazy.
But I didn't want to make an assumption.
No, yeah.
I love your checklist. I love all your your study outlines, like your flashcards. That is so me. But I have creative ideas, but I can't put brain to hand and make pretty things. That's Abby. So you have all the creativity of Abby and all of the adorableness of Abby, and like the playing outside with your kids and making little dolls for them. That is like 100% Abby. So somehow you are us in one being, and I love it.
That's great.
So, like I said before, thank you so much.
It was so nice to meet you, and I'm so glad to find a like-minded
OCD
person.
Sure. This is awesome.
We will, blast your socials all over on our Instagram and just be like, check her out. She's amazing. Her book's coming out next year. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, thank you guys. You're so sweet.
And at the end of most of our podcasts, I say, thank you for teaching me today, but Ashley didn't really teach us today. So I'm going to say, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Sorry.
And
then I say, until next week or next time.
You finished it.
I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby.
Oh, sorry.
And then you can say your name.
And I've been Kaitlyn.
Yay!
Yay!
And this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we're so glad to have Kaitlyn, our honorary sister of the Shire, joining us today. And we are so happy you joined us, and we hope you can join us next time. Bye!
Thank you for teaching me a day. Yay!